President Joe Biden, as we talked about, has repeatedly advocated himself to be a very pro-union president. And he even proclaimed he would be the most pro-union president in American history. And so it's important to check in with something that bold, that promise being so bold, to check in on how it's going. And it continues to go very, very well. And that's so exciting because we've just had a really bad track record recently in modern American history with presidents and their advocacy for workers being as strong as it should be. And sometimes it's just completely on the opposite side of where we'd want it to be. President Biden's different, and that's super good to see. We talk a lot about negative stories. This is a positive one today. So before getting to the most recent example of this, we did talk about this American Prospect article titled "Biden's NLRB Brings Workers' Rights Back from the Dead. A decision last Friday makes union organizing possible again." And I went through in a past segment the details of the National Labor Relations Board under the Biden administration and the recent policies that have been implemented on that front that are incredible for workers' rights and workers' well-being, specifically unionization efforts. And now we have this, something more symbolic, but still very powerful. President Biden wrote on X, "Tuesday, I'll go to Michigan to join the picket line and stand in solidarity with the men and women of UAW as they fight for a fair share of the value they helped create. It's time for a win-win agreement that keeps American auto manufacturing thriving with well-paid UAW jobs." And this comes in response to the leader of UAW, the UAW president, Shawn Fain, making an open invitation to elected officials to show up and join the picket line.
There's no mixed message here. Let me be clear about this. Our message to anyone running for public office is that we're going to make endorsements with people that are there for us, and that's shown through your actions, not through words. Our invitation to anyone today, including the White House, to come and join our workers on a picket line, that's an open invitation for anybody. That's where you see support. Proof is in the action. As far as sending Julie Sue back, or we didn't send her back, she didn't come. We've had conversation with the White House. We've talked with them throughout this process about where we are on things and how things are progressing, just as we have many members of Congress that have reached out.
And so Biden is taking him up on that offer. And this will be the first time in at least a century that a U.S. president has shown up to a picket line. That's huge. Again, we talk about the actual more material changes, the material actions and policies being implemented by the Biden administration that also reflect this pro-worker, pro-union mentality on the part of President Joe Biden. But symbolic things like this matter too. And it'll be directly in contrast with Trump's decision when it comes to UAW. Here from Vanity Fair, Biden to join UAW strike in Michigan as Trump demands union endorsement. And he'll be delivering a speech, I think, in parallel to the Republican debate on Wednesday at a manufacturing plant of some kind. But his response was something to the effect of, when he was asked during the Meet the Press interview about this strike and the demands on the part of the UAW union, it included saying the union and their leaders need to endorse me, of course, and a bunch of stuff about electric cars, this, that, and the other thing. But a strange response to a question about an advocacy and fight for workers' well-being. Their leaders need to endorse me. Whereas Biden, he's not making demands about endorsements. He's showing up, showing his support. That's what we should get from U.S. presidents, especially those that promise to be pro-worker and pro-union. That is actually happening with President Joe Biden, even though he's old, okay? He's doing some good stuff, and I think that should also be the focus, despite the media's focus with President Joe Biden. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show and get a bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.